Today here on the bench, a Yaesu FT-747 vintage radio with intermittent no receive. Welcome to TRX Bench. Okay, so let's go here into the video. So really a very nice FT-747 in very good condition. So looks like new, but we have the problem that sometimes during a conversation suddenly the receive is gone. And well, this radio is known for a failure like this. It has already reported 20 years plus that there is really a problem on the filter board. And first of all, let me have a look if there is the modification on the filter board for this problem, and if not, we should do it anyways. But additional to that, let us prove that what we have heard is right, and that there is really a kind of intermittent loss of receive. Alright, and the receiver is already connected to our signal generator, and normally we should hear a tone. So that was only our volume control here, but we are sending with minus 73 dBm here into the radio, and you see there is almost no indication here on our S meter, and we know that should read S9, which it don't. So right from the moment where we have switched it on, we really recognized that something is wrong here. So that is really funny. So let me change here our. So let's see here. Let us change our band. Okay, so let's say we put it on 14120, and let me change the generator to 14120 as well. And yeah, we hear our tone, but very low receive here, so that is definitely not normal. Let me take. Whoop, what was that? Okay. What's going on here? Oh, hello. What is this here? Is it only a problem here in our antenna socket? So, one second. Okay, so let's. I mean, of course, it could be here my connector, of course, but that is a high quality amphenol. So I do not really believe that this is a problem, but to be sure that it is not, let's change here my cable. Alright, so we have here another cable, and it is definitely yeah, it is the same. So something really seems to be wrong here with our antenna connector. So maybe that we have a broken wire or so, but that is for sure not okay. So maybe the best idea is to crack it open. And see what's really going on here. Okay, and let me turn down here the volume. So what we have here, so this is our power amplifier unit and low pass filter unit, and of course we have our antenna connector right here. So we have to take out here our power amplifier module, and we need to see if you know, if we can find a problem here at our socket. So it looks a little bit like that. And I told you in the intro that there is a known problem on here's a crystal filter board. So down here we have our filters for both transmit and receive, and yeah, there is a problem known that the diode switching, so the signal switching, is sometimes not working right, and therefore a modification is known. And as far as I can see it here on the board, this modification is not done so far. So maybe we have to address that as well, because here this switching diode on this switching diode, sorry, is it this? Yeah, must be this one. It's not working correctly due to contact problems, and we will address this as well. I mean, it is a very easy modification, and if or better said, in any case, we will do it even it is not the problem, because we simply want to eliminate this problem. Okay, so our amplifier module is out, and we see here is our antenna connector, and here it is yeah, connected to the PCB. So this is a low pass filter board. This here is our antenna switch relay, and well, first of all we have here of course our solder connection, but I do not really see a problem here at this connection. It looks okay for the first moment. Well, maybe I really have to take the board out, so maybe that there is something wrong here with the solder point underneath. Yeah, let's see. But what I found is that you know, the connector itself is not tight here in our housing. So maybe that we have here a bad connection, a bad ground connection. So maybe that that is a problem. So I think the best is to bring it somehow here back in our housing, so that we can operate our radio and see what happens when we start here wiggling a little bit. So maybe then we are a little bit better able to identify where we lose or why we lose our signal. Yeah, okay, so let's see. I am not really sure what the reason is here, but we see that somehow when we move it here, now it's gone. Yeah, that is really funny, because we cannot really see. Now I have touched here the wiring. I mean, somehow I still believe that it has something to do here with this solder connection, even that we found that the connector itself is a little bit loose. So I'm really not sure. Okay, so I believe the best approach is, first I try to tighten here the connector itself, so it that it definitely has a good connection, and then if the problem is still present, then we have to take out here our low pass filter board. Alright, so I have fastened here our antenna jack, so that is now fine. But you see, if I touch the board, you hear that? So I guess my first impression was right. So what we really need to do is take off here the low pass filter board, check the soldering, and I mean, maybe the antenna switch here. But it looks like that it is the soldering. So let us get it out and see what's going on here. And it looks like that we still have here a factory sealing here at our screws. So it looks like that it has never been taken out, so that is definitely a good point, because otherwise you know, it can get always a nightmare. So we have seen it so many times before. So let me take it out. Okay, so now I've taken the wiring off here, and now let's lift the board that we can see what's going on here. And all right, very nice example, very nice example. I say bingo. Here it is. So that is a dry solder connection, and that is the reason why we lost always, you know, our receive. And so we have to solder it back in, and then I believe the problem is fixed. Okay, and you easily can see where the solder cracked here around our joint, and let's see if we can get it here back into good condition. Yeah, so that already looks quite nice, and that is most likely all what we have to do here. I mean, I go now and inspect, of course, here all our additional or all our solder points. If I see something what looks somehow a little bit odd, and I will solder it or flow it as well, and then hopefully this is really all what we have to do here. Alright, I checked the PCB, and everything else seems to be fine. So other than this one connection was simply fine, and that means if we are really lucky, then that was our problem, and we have already fixed the problem. But of course we gonna test it, and I will do the modification here on our filter board as well, and I will show you what I do, but I really believe that that was a problem. Alright, our PI unit is back in, so let's switch in on the radio and let's see. Yeah, that looks much better. Much better. Yeah. So I believe that was a problem. And now let's go here to our filter unit. Okay, and I've taken out here our board, our filter board. Oh, that is very easy. It is only these pins here, which are in a socket here on our, let me show it to you, on our main board. So you see we have here our socket and another one, so that is the 3 pins. Where is it here? Somewhere behind our wiring. So you see it down there. So you only need to lift it, and then it is out. So that is really no big deal. Okay, and let me show you what I'm talking about. So what we can see here is our filter board here with our three filters, the AM filter, the CW filter, and our SSB filter. And what you can see as well is here, now maybe I zoom it a little bit in for you. So what you see here is the diode network, which is switching here the different passes through the dedicated filter. And you know, for this filter switching, we also have here our resistor and a little coil, which together is the pass for the DC biasing, right, for our diodes. And we have here, of course, the same. So dependent on which filter is switched, we get here our positive voltage, DC voltage, and then you know, you have here our pass to ground, so that finally the filter is switched dependent on which filter is selected here by a DC voltage. So that is what it is all about. And it is already yeah, a couple of years. So let me see. This article here is in Radio Today from September 1999. So you see, it is already 20 years or so, let me say 20 years, that there is an article, and this article is explaining here exactly what I have told you in short words. So the filter switching, and for some reasons it seems to be a problem here to get the connections through the diode down to ground on the input or output. I mean, this is bi-directional, so dependent on what you are doing, receiving or transmitting, so you have both ways. And it has been found that there is a problem with the connection here over our little socket here for our pins, and therefore it is highly recommended to connect it here through over the pins here. And I show you now what it means here on our PCB. Then I guess it will be clear. Just focus here on L1, R1 and our J1, then our D07, and here on the other side it is L02, R12, our J02 of course, and our diode 04. And yeah, let's see how it looks like here on our PCB. Okay, and that is now here the situation on the board. So we have here our little connector. Here's our L1, and this is our R1, and here you can find our D7. And you know, here over this connector there should be a connection right through to the components, because for some reason there is a problem that sometimes it will not get good contact, and therefore the switching is failing. And if the switching is failing, then you will not get your signal in or out. And therefore what we are doing, and that is what you have seen, we will directly connect here our R1 over our connector to here D7. FT-747, right? And then we really hope that it will work, and we will do it very simple. We just scratch here our paint from the PCB, so that we get finally blank copper, and then we can easily put some solder on it, and it will be done. So let me clean the board so that I get the paint off. Here's the green coating, and then I show you the blank copper where we put finally our solder to, and then it will be fine. But maybe first I can show you. So this is here our beeper, and we should have a connection here from our R1 directly to our D7, and you see for the moment in time it is given, but as we know that there are problems, we will improve this through connection from here our resistor to the diode. Okay, and that is now the first step, as already explained. So you see we have now here blank copper, and now I will be able to simply put a solder point here onto it, and we can easily connect here our two components directly here over our socket, and that is exactly what has been recommended in the report I have just showed you. And yeah, so that is what I will do right now, put some solder onto it, and I will do exactly the same here on this side, that we have our connections as well, and then we all hope that it will work out fine. Right, and you can see now here our connection over our connector here, and as well here we have done exactly the same. So these both components are now soldered together, and we should not have any loose contact any longer. So that is a modification what I really recommend to anyone who is using still this nice little vintage receiver. Okay, so let me put it back in, and then the radio should be ready to go. Okay, PCB is back in, and let's see how it works. Right. So everything is fine, so no problem whatsoever, and now it is stable, and I'm really quite sure that that was really the problem. Okay, so we have done our modification. That means finally our radio is fine, but just let me check if we have takes power as well, and yeah, therefore let me here take off the generator, and let me connect our meter, and let's see, can't read the display right now, so let's see if everything is fine with transmit as well. Okay, let me check. 1 2 1 2. Hola, audio. Yeah, you see, radio is putting out approximately 130 watt. So for me that is too high, but I know that the old men like to have it to that power level. I personally would not drive it that much because these little radios are really not made for this power, especially when you really use it for long transmissions. But anyways, it is working. So we have output power, we have receive, everything is just fine, and this was an easy fault, but sometimes especially the easy ones can really drive you crazy, and I'm quite happy that I was able to easily find the problem. So now of course I will let it run for a little while, just to make sure that even when it is warm, that we have still good receive. But finally work is done. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please give me a big thumb up, and catch you next time. Bye.